This is Jarrod Horak for the RunawayHorse.com, and this is my video race of the week. I'm going to do 2 stakes races from Del Mar this week. I'm going to give out my top selections for each of those stakes races for Saturday, July 24th and Sunday, July 25th. If you're interested in my full card analysis from Del Mar, you can find that each and every day over at the RunawayHorse.com on my sales page. If you're interested in bonus free selections, head on over to HorseRacingNation.com. I have a daily best bets blog on that website, and it's right on the front page in the handicapping section each day. I have a free selection. I try to do as many stakes races as possible. I've been covering multiple stakes from Saratoga this summer. I just had the winner technical analysis in the Lake George Stakes earlier today, paying 7-1 over $17 to win. So that was a good best bet winner there. Tomorrow I'm going to do the San Clemente from Del Mar as my Horse Racing Nation best bet. And then Sunday, I'm going to cover the Shoe from Saratoga. So all that will be available at HorseRacingNation.com this weekend. And for more bonus free selections, you can go to the official Del Mar website, click on the handicapping tab, handicappers, and then free picks, and then scroll down, hit Horse Racing Nation, and then I have a bonus free selection from Del Mar each day on the official Del Mar website. So now I'm going to get into the analysis for these Del Mar races, and I'm going to do a race 8 for Saturday, July 24th, 2021. This is going to be the Grade 2 Eddie Reed, and it is for 3-year-olds and up, and they're going to be traveling 1 mile and an eighth on the turf course. And in this race, number 1, Vintage Print is your longest shot on the board. He's 20-1 morning line. He ended up rallying to finish second against Optional Claiming Company at Churchill Downs last time. That was his second start since moving to the Paula Lobo barn. Putting blinkers on in this spot, likes to come from off the pace. He's going to definitely get tested for class because he hasn't really run in any stakes races this year. Go back to when he was a 3-year-old in the Transylvania Stakes at Keeneland. He was 8th, beaten 2 lengths. That's the only stakes race he's been in. The 2 United, plenty of back class. He's 8 for 19 lifetime. He's banked more than $1.5 million, but he did disappoint in his last start. And in that last start, it was the Charles Whittingham Stakes, a Grade 2 at 1.25 miles at Santa Anita, and it was only a 4-horse field, and he just never really got involved. He was sitting back in 3rd, and then he retreated to last. So that was a disappointing effort as the heavy favorite. He usually takes a lot of money in races like this, and he won this race last year in the Eddie Reed at 1 mile and an eighth, coming off of that same layoff from the Whittingham to the Eddie Reed from May to July. He won it tracking the pace and winning by a half length. So there's no problem with the distance. He's 2 for 2 at the distance. He's run at Del Mar 4 times, 2 wins, 2 seconds. Flavien Prat always rides him, gets back aboard. He's going to take money. He's a contender. Clearly he's a win contender if he can find his best form. The 3 Say the Word is probably in a better distance this time. After last time in the Grade 1 Shoemaker Mile, he was cutting way back in distance because he won the Grade 2 Elkhorn Stakes at Keeneland in April at 1.5 miles. So he likes to run those long distance turf races, and he cut back from 1.5 miles all the way to a flat mile. I actually made him a value contender in that race, and he rallied nicely. He was 7 lengths back. He couldn't catch the leader that day, who's the favorite in this race. The pace just wasn't quick enough. The distance was too short, and Smooth Like Strait was able to get out there and go wire to wire in that 1 mile race. He's your morning line favorite in this race. Say the Word is 3-1. And this extra furlong of this race will make a difference and help him. He does lose Flavien Prat. Mike Smith will ride, and he rode him in the San Luis Race Stakes. He was second, beaten 3/4 of a length. United won that one. The 4 Count Again for trainer Phil D'Amato. And Phil D'Amato has Say the Word. He also has Count Again in this race. And Count Again likes to go last to first, or at least he tries to. And sometimes he's able to do that. He's just not the most reliable. But he is a deep closer, and he needs things to go his way. And when they do go his way, he can unleash a nice kick. In the Turf Classic last time at this distance, he was 4th, beaten 1 3/4 lengths. Smooth Like Strait was 3rd. He finished behind Smooth Like Strait in the Grade 1 Kilroe Mile in March. And that day, he rallied from 10th place. He was 3rd, beaten a half. Smooth Like Strait finished a neck in front of him that day. He did win the Grade 2 Seabiscuit handicap, going from 12th to 1st. That was at Del Mar last fall. So we know he likes this turf course, and we know he packs a good leg kick. It's just a question of, is he going to get a clean trip? Is he going to get enough pace help? Number 5, Award Winner could help with the pace in this race. He's been very sharp since he moved to the David Hoffman's barn and relocated to Southern California this year. He's run 4 times with 2 wins and 2 seconds. He finished second in back-to-back optional claiming races, and then he won at 1.25 miles, stretching out from 1 mile on March 27th, where he set the pace and kept on going. And he did set the pace in all 3 of his first 3 starts when he moved to the Hoffman's barn. And then the Grade 2 Charles Whittingham last time out stalked from second, and he was able to get the job done. He won by a head over Acclimate. He was a next out stakes winner, and he was able to upset United, and Red King was third that day. So award winner should be part of the pace, cutting back a furlong. 6, Smooth Like Strait should be part of the pace. He's your 9 to 5 morning line favorite, and he's very solid on turf. He's 7 for 14 in his career with 3 seconds and 2/3. He's earned a little less than $1 million just on the turf course. So he's one that will make his presence felt throughout. He's typically first or second. If you look at his form, his last 10 races, he's finished first or second a bunch of times. He's won multiple stakes races. He won the Grade 3 La Jolla, the Grade 2 Twilight Derby at this distance last year. He was second by a head in the Hollywood Derby at Del Mar at this distance. He won the Grade 2 Mathis Brothers Mile, second by a neck in the Kilroe Mile, third by a neck in the Turf Classic, and then he went wire to wire in the Shoemaker Mile last time out. He's 2 for 3 with a second at Del Mar, and he's a head away from a perfect 3 for 3 record at Del Mar. And he's, as I said, he's a graded stakes winner at this distance. Umberto Rispoli, excellent turf rider, is going to ride him back, and he should have him in the hunt throughout. Number 7, Restrainedvengence. He's 10 to 1 morning line, and he rounds out the field. And he's pretty good in his own right. He was third in the Grade 1 Shoemaker Mile a couple starts back, and then last time out in the Grade 3 American, he got the job done. He stalked from 4th, and he won by a half length. Tyler Bays has ridden him in his last 4 starts, and he's hit the board and finished in the top 3 in all 4 of those races, and he's used a different running style each time that Bays was aboard. He was able to try to pounce from last on the main track in the Santana Mile. He finished second. In the San Francisco Grade 3 at Golden Gate at 1 mile on turf, he rallied from 7th from 14 lengths back in an 8-horse field to finish 3rd. He was all over the pace in the Shoemaker Mile, and he finished 3rd. And then the American, he stalked. So they have a lot of options from the outside post with him. So he's very solid, but he's going to have to run a little bit quicker to beat some of the top contenders. So United, certainly one that you can use in here. But I'll give out my top 4. Count Again will be my 4th choice. I think that he's got a shot from off the pace, but he's going to need some things to go his way. United will be my 3rd choice in here for trainer Richard Mandela. Flavien Prat is going to ride, and he should set a good stalking trip. It's just a question of can he find his good form again. My 2nd choice in here is going to be Smooth Like Strait. He's just so solid. He just runs his heart out in all these races, and he should make his presence felt throughout. And he's probably going to be the one to catch turning for home. But I'm hoping that Say the Word can turn the tables on him this time. In that Shoemaker Mile, as I said, the mile was too short. And I'm going to throw up this picture after the finish in the Shoemaker Mile. And you'll see on the outside that Say the Word galloped out strong. He was able to gallop out in front of Smooth Like Strait. Now, he just wasn't going to catch that one at a mile. But I think at a mile and an eighth, a much better distance for Say the Word. It's very interesting that Phil D'Amato will run him in this race as well. I mean, he could run him, he's a 1.5-mile horse. So there's some longer distance turf races at Del Mar graded stakes that he could run him in. He could ship him east. They could run him in some longer races at Saratoga. But it was interesting that they cut him back to a mile last time, and now they're going to run him in a 1 1/8 miles. So I think Say the Word can pounce in the stretch, and then having more ground to work with, he can run down Smooth Like Strait. So my top choice is going to be Say the Word number 3 in the Grade 2 Eddie Reed at Del Mar on July 24th. Let's jump over to July 25th at Del Mar. Let's do the Daisycutter Handicap. It's going to be race 7, fillies and mares, 5 furlongs on the turf course. Now this race, tons of speed in here. We'll show the field right now. Bulletproof 1, number 1, has a lot of speed, so you know she's going to be going from the rail her first start in 10 months. The 5 Superstition is probably going to track the pace. But you have some other front runners in here, like number 6, Lenzi's Lucky Lady. That one likes to go. The 7, 5 Pics, Please, 15 to 1 morning line with Rispoli aboard. That one's all about early speed. You have Rakassah, number 9, with Jessica Pfeiffer. Likes to go out there and be involved in the pace. Bruja, Escarlata, number 10, for trainer John Sadler with Tyler Bays aboard. 3 for 3 lifetime. All over the pace in all 3 of those races. And then you have 2 also eligibles, Sadie, Bluegrass, number 11, acting out, number 12. They both have speed. So it's going to be tough for a speed horse to keep going in here with so many horses liking to be on the lead. So the pace should be quick. Now, if one of the speed horses holds, maybe it'll be the one, Bulletproof one, the inside speed. She's very tough. It's tough to get in front of her. She's practically in front in all of her starts. First off, the layoff for Peter Miller. I think he's got her ready to go. There's just a question of, is there too much pace in here? Your morning line favorite is the 5 Superstition, with Flavien Prat aboard for Richard Mandela, reconnecting with Flavien Prat, and Flavien Prat is her winning rider. Abel Cedillo rode last time in the Monrovia from the outside post in an 8-horse field. She tracked the pace. She finished 3rd, beaten 5 lengths. Cutting back to 5 furlongs, she's 2 for 2 at Del Mar at 5 furlongs on turf. So she's one that has that tactical speed, and I think she can get first run. She just might not offer a ton of value. Now for some late runners in here, Constantia, number 4, 6-1 morning line. John Sadler is the trainer. Umberto Rispoli jumps off, so Jose Valdivia Jr. is going to ride, and he rode this one in the Wishing Well Stakes at 6.5 turf when she rallied from 11 lengths back to finish 3rd, beaten 3 lengths. Superstition won that one. She turned the tables on Superstition in the misdirection, rallying from off the pace, and then in the Monrovia last time, she was 2nd, Superstition was 3rd. The big question here is this 5 furlong distance. She's 0 for 2 at 5 furlongs. She'll be far back early, trying to mow them down. For my value top choice in here, I'm going to go with Bulletproof One's stablemate number 2, Querelle, for trainer Peter Miller. And Peter Miller is an excellent turf sprint trainer. And I thought that was interesting that he brought her back in the Grade 3 Wilshire last time. She's really not a miler. She ran in the Wilshire last summer as well, and she finished 3rd in that race at 26-1 in a 5-horse field. And then she turned back to 5 furlongs at Del Mar, and she rallied from last to finish 2nd. And then she did win a 5 furlong turf sprint last August at Del Mar, August 23rd, an optional claiming race where she rallied to get the job done. So she's run 6 times at this distance, at this turf sprint distance, 3 wins, 3 seconds. Now, if you look at her overall turf record, she's 17 starts, 3 wins, 3 seconds, and 2/3. So when she has not run 5 furlongs on turf, she hasn't finished 1st or 2nd. So she likes these shorter turf sprints. She's got a nice leg kick. The Wilshire, I think they were just using that as a fitness maneuver there. Just get a race in her before Del Mar and then turn her back to this, because she probably needed a race. I think that last race served its purpose. Tons of pace in here. Juan Hernandez gets aboard. She's 6-1 morning line, and maybe Querelle can get up and upset this race. Obviously, Bulletproof One could be the speed of the speed. Constantia maybe can hit the board, and Superstition, your morning line favorite, is the one to beat. But I am going with number 2, Querelle, as my value top choice. So that will wrap up my look at the stakes races at Del Mar this weekend. Again, horseраcingnation.com for bonus free selections. You can go over to the RunawayHorse.com on my California and New York pages for bonus free selections from stakes races. And also, if you're interested in my full cards, that's also available at the RunawayHorse.com. And that will wrap up this week's video. I'll be back next week with another stakes race from around the country.